Hey, welcome back. I've been thinking about something since we spoke about the red shoes. Actually, it's less of a thought and more of a question. When was the last time you gave away a little piece of yourself? Not in a dramatic way, life-changing way, but I mean in the tiny ways, the everyday ways. The ways that almost go unnoticed. You laughed at a joke that didn't sit right with you. You said yes when your whole body wanted to say no. You apologized for taking up space. You explained yourself when you didn't owe anyone an explanation. You stayed quiet because speaking felt inconvenient. Little pieces. I don't think we wake up one morning and completely lose ourselves. And I know I've probably said this before. I feel we hand ourselves over gradually, one compromise at a time. And the tricky thing is, most of those compromises don't look dangerous. They look kind, they look responsible, they look like keeping the peace, they look like being understanding, they look like being the bigger person, and sometimes they are. But sometimes they're self-abandonment, wearing very beautiful clothes. I've been guilty of this more times than I can count, especially because I genuinely love people. I like seeing the best in them. I like believing they'll meet me where I meet them. I like giving grace, and I still believe grace matters deeply. But I've learnt something over the years. Grace without boundaries slowly becomes resentment. Compassion without honesty becomes exhaustion, and kindness that constantly excludes yourself stops being kindness. One of the quietest shifts I've made over the last few years is asking myself a different question. Not what does everybody else need from me, but what feels true for me? At first, that question felt selfish, then uncomfortable, then unfamiliar, and eventually it started feeling like home. Because every time I answered it honestly, I felt a little more like my truest self. I don't think remembering who we are usually happens in one big cinematic moment or breathwork session. I think it happens in these tiny micro decisions. You say what you really think. You trust the feeling in your stomach. You leave the conversation that doesn't feel good anymore. You stop over-explaining. You rest without owning it. You tell the truth. Not somebody else's truth. Yours. And slowly, very quietly, you begin collecting little pieces of yourself again. Maybe that's what coming home really is. Not one giant leap. Just 1,000 tiny returns. So today I want to leave you with one question, one gentle question. Where have you been giving away little pieces of yourself? And what's one small piece you could lovingly take back today? Not with anger, not with blame, not with a victim story, simply with love. What's one small piece you could lovingly take back today? Because the woman you're becoming doesn't need to be created. She just needs enough space to come back to herself. I'll speak to you again on Sunday. But until then, take a deep breath and keep coming home to you.